Fourth of 5 events, the Austrian Oak, the athletes with 90 seconds for max reps, 430 pounds. Now, obviously, you got to be strong. We all know that. But there is a lot of technique involved with this implement.
Yes, the first thing that you need to do is have an efficient lift to the chest. You'll see the athletes squat down, they turn their hands forward typically, and roll the log back.
He approaches the Austrian Oak, 90 seconds for max repetitions at 430 pounds.
Notice how he has his hands turned over, squats down, drives up with his hips, and rolls it back. Now he's got his elbows in a forward position.
Pritchett will reset.
That's a long time to have 430 pounds up to your chest.
Back for his second attempt.
You can watch Magnus for Magnuson. If the hand doesn't come down, the rep doesn't count. Let's hear it. Give him big it up.
And Pritchett looks like he is done, and he will step away without recording a single repetition.
On the Austrian Oak, yes, and they'll have the secondary competition. He's got his elbows forward, and he's really trying to just push it back. See, his elbows are forward. That puts his hands in the position closer to his shoulders. If you actually hold your hands perpendicular to the floor, what will happen is
2 reps and counting.
The incomparable Zydrunas Savickas, 8-time champion here, finished with 4 repetitions with this implement one year.
Third attempt for Kaliszkowski. Oh, and the crowd was trying to will that thing over his head, but Kaliszkowski will exit with 2 good reps, and he is the early leader.
Those are 2 big repetitions because he has probably a high hamstring insertion area that's bothering him.
Asking for the Oak to be adjusted just slightly.
Attention to detail is legendary.
He's very good with overhead events.
He is chalked up.
Brian Shaw has been at this competition every year since 2010, and he has won it 3 times.
This is going to challenge his mental strength. He's got an injury, and he's still pushing on. Can't flex your hips forward if you've got a high hamstring issue, typically.
Inside a minute now for Brian Shaw. Second attempt.
Will that bar up. Will that bar up. Come on, Shaw.
The crowd trying to help out Brian Shaw, and he will not be able to lock that one out. And
Wow,
you can tell the leg is bothering him a little bit there. He has time for one more attempt.
Brian Shaw's going to go again. This is insane. 15 seconds. Let's go. Come on.
He's going to have to hurry.
The heart of a champion.
Brian Shaw, 8 seconds to clear this one.
It will not happen for Brian Shaw, as you can tell how much he's hurting. And you said it earlier at the beginning of the day, there was some doubt as to whether or not he was going to be in the competition, and you quickly said, no, Brian Shaw is going to compete.
Yes, he will compete, even in pain and static events. So as a young athlete like Matyas, it's very important to continue to develop that static strength with deadlifts and overhead pressing, squatting strength.
So far, Kaliszkowski with 2 reps, the mark to beat.
But he had a definite improvement in his deadlift, so his static events are improving year to year.
Belshak will be the 4th man to take on the Austrian Oak, the 4th of 8 strongmen here in event number 4. First attempt for Belshak.
Right up! Belshak, the power!
Belshak has to stabilize it. He will not get credit for that rep. The athletes do have to wait for a signal from the judge.
Yes.
Now going back to the chalk.
So he pushed back, but probably pushed back a little bit too much, and it goes behind him. He did that at Santa Monica also.
Here's attempt number 2 for Belshock. Once again, little trouble getting it to his shoulders, but now just cannot complete the press.
It looks so promising now.
He rolled his eyes up. That was a golden opportunity to lock that out, which he had, but he couldn't get his feet placed. You have to have your body under control, under the implement to get the down signal from the judge. And nobody's better at understanding this than Magnus for Magnuson, the head judge.
Magnus for Magnuson is right in front of Natchez Belshock. She's at the bottom of your screen right now. Third attempt from Natchez Belshock.
Elbows are forward.
The press is not going to happen, and Belshock calls it.
Just didn't have enough diesel to finish.
Reps on 2 attempts from Mikhail Shivlikov, and that will give way to Rano Heinle out of Estonia, who has been pretty impressive so far in this competition. Third in the Husafell Stone, had him tied for second place after day 1, but then he dropped down the leaderboard after a 6th place finish in the Wheel of Pain, trying to move back up into contention for one of those top 3 spots.
This is film review. This is actually doing a lot of lifting with the oaks.
Yes, from Estonia,
let's see what he's going to do now.
the land of George Hackenschmidt. So Strongman is alive and well
Coming to the oak.
in his home
Under
country
Estonia.
with the tradition.
Heinle.
He's been powerlifting and weightlifting since he was 10. First attempt for Rano Heinle on the Austrian Oak, 430 pounds.
That whistle.
There's the whistle.
Can anyone miss 2
195 kilos on that thing. Heinle quickly to work, but just cannot complete the press.
Shivlikov, Kalishkovsky with 2
Had a good
reps.
start with some hip drive.
Looked real good there.
Looked a little sluggish, like the weight was trying to roll forward on him.
Push press it. I think that this next one will be a push press.
So that's why you want to drive your elbows forward as hard as possible to lock that log onto your chest. It also puts your elbows in a better position to push up and back.
I think that if we get this crowd to get
Only
behind
3
him,
of 5 men so far have been able to get the Austrian Oak over their heads. Rano Heinle, the 6th man out on this stage, now ready for his 2nd
45
attempt.
seconds left, halfway through his time. Looking to get 2 reps. Can he get his first here?
Once again, gets it to the chest. Closer on the press, but still will not go. And Heinle will leave without a successful lift.
So they can then drive completely back. Just to make a quick comment about him starting lifting at age 10. In the U.S., we're starting to have young athletes start in strength sports earlier.
Martins Lisis, who currently sits in 2nd place after his win in the Wheel of Pain. We saw him win that Arnold Strongman Classic in Santa Monica, and that was when we really figured out that this kid was going to be a contender when he got here.
Yes, he's someone that always comes on stronger through the end of.
3rd attempt for the Dragon.
Quickly up to the chest.
Lisis out of gas, but does tie for the best mark so far with 2 successful reps.
that man is like a wild dog off the
And he did not waste a whole lot of setup time. He got right to work on this thing, and back-to-back quick, successful reps for Martins Lisis.
2 reps, he cleaned them. I thought he was going to
Elbows are forward, backing up.
When you hit the wall, there's no
Notice that on the first rep and actually the 2nd rep, he's got that right foot back just a little bit.
First place. He's
Pushing
taken first in 2 events, 2nd in
up
1 event.
and able to
Now
lock
he
it.
knows what he has to do, Mike.
2 successful attempts from Martins Lisis, and now the overall leader in your defending Arnold Strongman Classic champion, Hathor Bjornsson, set a record in the elephant bar deadlift with a lift of 1,045 pounds, then won the Husafell Stone Carry to go back-to-back on day 1, and was only 6 inches away from beating Martins Licis in the Wheel of Pain.
Yes, the Icelandic giant. His father's probably close to 7 feet tall, and his grandfather is too, and they're both here in the audience watching him.
They are an easy family to spot walking through the crowd. One more look at the overall standings coming into this final attempt. The overall standings in this event, 3 men have completed 2 repetitions. Martins Licis the most recent, and then Brian Shaw completed 1.
A 430-pound log.
He really needs to hit 2 reps and get himself in that pack. But then he can completely separate himself from the pack with a 3rd repetition.
Hafthor Bjornsson just needs to stay close to Martins Licis, the man immediately behind him in the overall standings. Bjornsson leads Licis by 6 points coming into this event, and this is his first attempt on the Austrian Oak. 430 pounds, 195 kilos. And that is easy for Hafthor Bjornsson. 1 successful rep is in. Hafthor, one of the few athletes in the field who actually weighs more than the log.
So it's giving him a little bit more in his legs. You don't have to really bound so much.
Well, it's an
Just needs 1 more to tie himself with the 3 other athletes who have completed 2 repetitions.
Clearing his head a little bit there.
The Mountain asks for some help from the crowd, and they will gladly give it to him on attempt number 2.
Help the Mountain out here, folks.
Bjornsson locks that out, and he has tied for the lead. And he has more time left on the clock if he wants to make another attempt.
He needs this attempt, and he'll basically lock down the competition overall.
20 seconds. Give it to him. 20 seconds. He can seal the deal.
3rd attempt for the Mountain.
Plenty of time.
No problem to the chest. And Bjornsson just cannot get under it. 2 reps, though, will tie him with 3 other men in this event. Thanking the crowd. And Hafthor Bjornsson will remain your overall leader heading in to the final event. Now, the lighter log will come out. That's 385 pounds. The athletes who did not complete a single lift on the heavier log will now get to attempt that. Jerry Pridgett will be up first. He is one of 3 men who did not record a successful lift on the Austrian Oak.
The feather. So don't leave. 385.
Matjaž Belšak and Ronald Heinle were the other 2.
It really does make a big difference. Now they're fighting for points. These points are placements. Placements is money. These are professional athletes. They know what they're doing.
Jerry Pridgett approaching the log, gives him the down signal.
A little more ginger. He's not trying to be too explosive coming up with a little bit of an issue, one of his hamstrings.
Here's attempt number 2. Pridgett will call it, but he does get 1 successful lift.
Pridgett got 1 on the feather, and that could still earn him points here.
Yes, and
Jerry Pridgett, with just 1 event remaining.
The back and the hamstrings, you need those muscles intact.
Matjaž Belšak is up next. And he is another man who has improved as this competition has gone on. He grew up in a family of cooking enthusiasts. His parents own a restaurant in Slovenia, and he actually works there sometimes as an apprentice chef. His powerlifting career began at the junior stages. He was 17 years old, and he won the 2017 Arnold Classic Europe Strongman and the 2017 Arnold Classic Poland, and he was a points qualifier in the overall standings to get here to the 2019 Arnold Strongman Classic, and trying to improve on his 6th place finish from last year.
Not making his belt too tight. Just trying to get a little something for the abdominal wall to push on.
All right, he's approaching the bar.
Opposite of what people think of. The weightlifting belt really doesn't help your lower back as much as it helps you push your butt up with his hips. More of a strict press. He was very, very close with the Austrian oak.
But you see the difference that
Two successful attempts, and remember this implement, regardless of how many times you lift it, will not leapfrog you over the men who got at least one successful attempt on the Austrian oak. This is now for placement.
And the clean, but not as strong in the press.
Belshot going for 3. It's not done yet.
27 seconds.
Now lining up for attempt number 4.
Here we go. Look at this third rep.
2 good lifts for Matjaž Belšak to put him ahead of Jerry Pritchett. 1 more man remains, and that is Ronald Heinle.
Another young athlete that needs to work on his static strength.
Record breakers after the guys finish.
Very good.
Here's Ronald Heinle from Estonia. He won the 2018 Arnold Classic Australia Championship to qualify here. 6-time Estonia's strongest man. And again, we mentioned started weightlifting at a very young age and started competing in Strongman in 2000. 6 years ago, he tore his right Achilles tendon, and doctors told him he'd just have to recover from it. His leg actually swelled, and in his words, began to rot. 10 centimeters of his tendon were removed, and 6 on this piece of equipment. Belšak had 2, so Heinle now on his 2nd attempt. And it looks like Heinle may not have gotten credit for that. He had it above his head, but he did not get the down signal, and that is a lot of wasted effort.
Magnus is a great judge. If it wasn't set, he wouldn't have given the down signal. So
Heinle struggling with it and won't be able to get it over his head. So 2 good lifts for Ronald Heinle will tie him with Matjaž Belšak. Jerry Pritchett will finish with 1, as the 4th of 5 events at the 2019 Arnold Strongman Classic are now in the books. And Hafthor Bjornsson will take his lead into the final event and try to lock up his 2nd consecutive Arnold Strongman Classic championship. Final results: 4 men with 2 successful lifts. Bjornsson was the final man to log 2. Brian Shaw gets 1. And then on the lighter log, Matjaž Belšak and Ronald Heinle both get 2. And it's Jerry Pritchett who will finish in 8th place with 1 good lift on that 385-pound log. So 1 more look. And here are your unofficial point standings after 4 events. Hafthor Bjornsson increases his lead now to 9 points over Martins Lisis. Mikhail Shivlikov moves into 3rd. Ronald Heinle is now in 4th. Maciusz Kieloszkowski is in 5th. The disappointing competition for Brian Shaw continues as he is in 6th place. And Alexei Novikov, who was in 3rd to start this event, again, he was getting checked out by the medical team for an injury. He may not be out of the competition. He did not participate in this. If he is cleared, he will return. He's been impressive so far.